Stephen Leaney and Nick O'Hearn secured the victory, while Tom Lehman saved the Americans from a whitewash.
The predicted windy conditions stayed away from St Andrews, and while Loch Ness monster sightings are rare, some cut corners in search of the perfect wave.
I don't believe it.
Stephen Leaney bogeyed the first before stringing together 3 consecutive birdies to lead John Daly.
As is that putt.
The Australian then lost his grip at the 12th tee, and his ball ended in thick rough. Leaney played a provisional ball, which left him the chance to salvage par.
Hello.
Daly then searched for Leaney's first ball before the tournament director intervened, ruling the Australian was not obliged to look for it. Leaney later saved par. At the par 5 14th, Leaney's chip and run was dead on line. At the same hole, Daly the delicate wasn't to be outdone.
Oh, he can do better than that.
Leaney won by 3 shots. Behind them, Nick O'Hearn made 4 birdies in 6 holes to take a stranglehold against Larry Mize. O'Hearn beat the '87 US Masters champion by 6 strokes. Peter O'Malley had few bright moments, trailing most of the way in a 5-shot loss against Tom Lehman.
Defeat of Japan in all 3 matches yesterday. Argentina thrashed the United States 3-0 to keep their semi-final hopes alive. In Group 2, New Zealand and South Africa will battle it out for top spot. In Group 3, it's between Spain and Sweden. Group 1 top seed Scotland scored a win over old rivals England and now need to beat Wales 3-0 to advance through to the semi-finals.
The United States and England have both crashed out of the Dunhill Cup. Top seed Scotland registering their first win over England at the 6th attempt. Colin Montgomery and Andrew Coulthard seen off a weak England side. The Scots now need to beat Wales 3-0 to qualify for the semi-finals. And it was a Black Friday for the United States, thrashed 3-0 by second seed Argentina. John Daly had a shocker, coming to grief at the infamous 17th. Eduardo Romero's cause was helped by an eagle on his way to a 70 and a 2-shot win over Larry Mize. Angel Cabrera posting a 68, 3 better than Tom Lehman. The luck was certainly not with the Irish, who were no match for 4th seed South Africa, Retief Goosen beating Paul McKinley on the first extra hole. New Zealand kept their semi-final hopes alive with a 3-0 whitewash of France, Michael Campbell beating Thomas Levey on the final green. New Zealand will face South Africa in a showdown tomorrow. China's campaign was burnt to the ground by an informed Swedish side. While Spain came from behind to beat Zimbabwe 2-1, they'll now have to beat Sweden for a place in the semi-finals.
Beating Japan 3-0, Nick O'Hearn, Peter O'Malley and Stephen Leaney didn't have much to spare.
Good day for Scotland.
Another relatively calm day on the Scottish coast. And at the 14th, Japan's Tetsu Nishikawa squandered a 3-metre birdie attempt and a par putt, giving Peter O'Malley a 1-stroke lead. The Australian kept his nose in front by that advantage all the way home. At the 18th, Tsukasa Watanabe had this to square the match with Stephen Leaney, but the Australian won by a stroke. Now a regular on the seniors tour, Isao Aoki's peculiar putting style served him well. At the final hole, he put the pressure on Nick O'Hearn with a birdie finish.
Gee, I jammed that putt into the ground, eh?
The Australian needed to sweep his birdie putt in to win by a shot.
He hasn't missed.
Yeah, he's got it.
St Andrews still caught some by surprise.
Well,
American John Daly found that while necessity is the mother of invention, at the infamous 17th, you could still end up stuck in the middle of the road.
Pretty mad with himself.
He double bogeyed there, which must have made him feel like taking a running jump.
Wash the United States. It was a case of what might have been for Japan. Missed opportunities cost Tetsu Nishikawa his tie against O'Malley. A frustrating day too for Stephen Leaney. The West Australian fortunate his opponent was unable to capitalise. Susaka Watanabe had a birdie chance at the last to send it to a sudden death matchup. Nick O'Hearn was also locked in a tight struggle with Isao Aoki.
nice shot from Nick O'Hearn.
Again, the match would be decided by a putt on the 18th green.
He hasn't missed.
Yeah, he's got it.
Australia recording a 3-0 result. Colin Montgomery inspired Scotland to its first victory over the English, keeping alive its hopes of reaching the semi-finals. The Spaniards set up a group decider with Sweden, Jose Maria Olazabal recording a comfortable victory in the vital match. Wales and Germany were involved in a battle royal, Philip Price clinching victory for the Welsh at the 18th. John Daly completed the United States Teams Cup disaster at the famous road hole.
He decided pretty well straight away how he's going to play this. Ooh, nearly very good.
The US lost 3-0 to Argentina to tumble out in the first round for the second consecutive year.
O'Hearn won by 3 strokes against Eduardo Romero, but Stephen Leedy and Peter O'Malley lost their matches.
Nico Hearn has been the star performer for Australia, winning all 3 matches.
Beautifully done by Nick.
Angel Cabrera led the upper hand against Stephen Leeny, while Peter O'Malley led Jose Caceres by a stroke at the 14th before a disastrous finish.
Expensive.
The putting blues got to O'Malley. 5 shots dropped in 3 holes, handing Caceres an unlikely 2-stroke victory.
It was 2-1 in favour of the South Americans, while 4th seed South Africa produced a dramatic finish to beat New Zealand in the Group 2 decider. Wales thrashed top seed Scotland 3-0 to complete their unbeaten march through Group 1. Spain will meet Argentina in the semi-final after beating Sweden 2-1.
It could have gone either way for the Aussies against Argentina, the first 2 games shared. Nico Hearn beating Eduardo Romero.
He hasn't missed.
Yeah, he's got it.
And Stephen Leeny losing to Angel Cabrera.
A good sound goal from him again, 68.
With the pressure on, Peter O'Malley was 1 up on Jose Caceres with 4 to play, but double bogeyed the 15th and 16th, losing by 2.
Not quite.
In the most dramatic match of the day, South Africa's semi-final hopes looked shaky as the New Zealanders started well. Michael Campbell was 1 up on Ernie Els with 3 to go, but he bogeyed the 16th.
Good again, but also short.
And Els birdied the last 2 to win, carding a 68 to Campbell's 69.
Has he hit it? What? Well,
Grant Wade boosted New Zealand's semi-final hopes, beating David Frost by 4. But Retief Goosen sealed the Kiwis' fate, winning at the first extra hole.
well done, sir.
In what must rank as their best ever performance in the 16-year history of the competition, Wales completed a clean sweep of top seed Scotland. In Woosnam beat favourite Colin Montgomery at the second extra hole. David Park delivered the next blow, upsetting Andrew Coulthard. Phil Price completing the Welsh campaign, beating Gary Orr by 3.
Well done, the Welsh.
Spain kept their hopes of a successful defence alive, with Miguel Angel Jimenez the only one to drop a game to the Swedes, losing by 1 to Per Aruk Johansson. Spain will meet Argentina in tomorrow's semi-final, while South Africa will face Wales.
Third round encounter against Argentina. While Nico Hearn played brilliantly to defeat Eduardo Romero, Stephen Leeny and Peter O'Malley were beaten. The Argentinian trio will meet Spain in one semi-final, while South Africa plays Wales. The old course at St Andrews has presented few problems on this visit for Western Australian Nico Hearn. His 69, 3 better than recent European Masters winner Eduardo Romero. But Angel Cabrera overcame Stephen Leeny by 5 strokes, leaving the Caceres-O'Malley contest to decide the issue. The Australian with a birdie at 14 to go 1 ahead. But following it with 2 horrible holes, having to play out sideways from a fairway bunker at the 15th. 3 putts on that green, producing a costly double bogey. At the next, the New South Welshman hit his tee-shot iron out of bounds, presenting Caceres his chance to give Argentina an unlikely semi-final berth against Spain.
We're still thinking do the same for tomorrow. We are very concentrated, we're playing very solid, and we wait for our days tomorrow.
South Africa will play the in-form Welsh after sneaking past New Zealand. Ernie Els finishing with a 4-under 68 to beat Michael Campbell by
1/10, particularly tricky. Frost and Martin's showdown taking the high road. Frost hit one side of the road.
Hold on, crowd, enjoy it, but no. No.
And then Martin hit the other.
Sure, you don't tell me he's in the bunker.
No, he's on the road.
The road once more.
Camera just gets out of the way.
Can you believe it?
Oh, and he's the other side of the road.
Both recovered, but Martin's misfortune continued on the 18th. This shot leaving him in no man's land.
And he's hit the pin. Oh, well done, Carl.
No, that's unlucky.
Well, it is very unlucky.
That is so cruel.
His visor bearing the brunt of his frustration. Frost played safe, expecting Martin to take at least 2 putts to the hole.
And the reason,
don't leave it down there.
That was the reason Martin was marking his ball, because Frost said it's a little further from the hole than you would ideally want, but it is the smart play.
But with Spain's crown in the balance, Martin played one of those shots he'll be telling at golf dinners for years.
What a great effort.
Got it.
He's done it.
Oh, he's in.
This time, his visor went up rather than down. Frost fell short on his putt, and the match went into a playoff.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. He's left himself. Not the easiest putt once more.
On the first playoff green, Frost 3-putted, handing Spain victory for the 2nd time in a row. The tournament looks unlikely to continue next year, but for the moment, it was time to savour a remarkable win for Spain.
Jimenez and Ernie Els levelled the match. Then Miguel Angel Martin secured Spain's win on the first playoff hole against David Frost.
Spain's Miguel Angel Jimenez may only occasionally be partial to having his handsome moustache tugged. Today he didn't mind too much in celebrating another thrilling Spanish golfing victory. Having shot 69 to lead South Africa to a semi-final win against Wales, Ernie Els followed up with a 68 in the final to outscore 2-time US Masters champion Jose Maria Olazabal. But after losing to Argentina's Eduardo Romero as Spain narrowly won its semi-final, Jimenez shaded Retief Hussain by 2 in the final, leaving Miguel Angel Martin to complete a drama-charged win. His pinpoint pitch at the 18th struck the flagstick and spun wildly back into St Andrew's dreaded Valley of Sin, leaving the 38-year-old with the most difficult of shots. He chose to putt, sinking the long-range meandering attempt for a 2-over 74, forcing a playoff. Martin played steadily down the first extra hole, but opponent David Frost 3-putted, giving Spain back-to-back teams titles.
South Africa. Miguel Angel Martin's approach to the final hole hit the pin, but rolled back into the Valley of Sin.
So cruel.
He now needed an 18-metre putt to force a playoff with David Frost. Otherwise, South Africa would win.
Oh, what a great effort.
Got it.
He's done it.
Oh, he's in.
The visor now thrown in delight. And after Frost missed this at the first extra hole, the 3 amigos, Martin, Jimenez and Olazabal, celebrated Spain's successful title defence. Charles Christian for Nightline.